Okay, everyone. Now we're going to be jumping into carving the stamp. So we've got our design on there, kind of talked about the space. Now we're going to bring in our pointy tool. So again, just be careful when you're using this tool. It is pretty sharp. So just keep that in mind, especially since if you're working with a smaller block, you got to make sure you're safe. Okay, so when you're carving your stamp, again, make sure you're thinking about what space you don't want to show up and what you do. We've kind of talked about how, for me, I want these lines to show up. In other words, I want the ink to live on it so that when I stamp it, it comes out as my ink color. So I'm just going to kind of emphasize that here in my design, and you can do the same. I'm just gonna kind of do that. So this is basically what I'm not gonna touch. I'm not gonna carve out. I want to keep it this kind of pencil marking there. And then we're gonna go ahead and get started. So when you have your tool, the way it comes on the kit is it comes separate. So again, this has a little hole in it so you can put it in. This is the part, the softer, not sharp edge that you want to put it into the hole. So it just goes in there, and then carefully put it in. Kind of make sure it's a bit secure so that when you're carving, it's on there. And then again, just to make sure, we're not going to put our hands above it because that's where accidents can kind of happen. So we're going to put our hand behind it. So for me, I'm carving all of this pink space. So I'm going to go ahead and start pretty shallow. Sometimes the tendency when it comes to printmaking and carving itself, so we want to go super deep. It's not really necessary to go very deep. So when I talk about it, that means when I'm going like that, you don't have to angle your tool so deep. You can do it pretty surface level like this. You're still going to carve what you need. So keep it there. And this is where you start experimenting. If this is new to you, this will feel different because it is something that you haven't done before. But what I find to be super helpful when you're carving is you kind of just keep straight lines. It makes it nice for when you print and you're done with carving. It makes it a much cleaner design. So I'm kind of gonna just do one smooth carve out, and then each time I kind of take out the excess. So as you can see, I'm already carving out a few things here. And again, I'm not carving the pencil outline. So we're just gonna keep on going on like that. So I'm gonna kind of connect this guy. And just being really careful since sometimes I will have my hand in front of the tool, but just kind of go in the direction you need. And as you saw, I've kind of been using a little movement there to move the block slowly to where I want it to go. And so I kind of start here, smooth, and then use the movement that you have available to move the block slowly and carefully. We're not really in a rush here. And then end it there. Now, when you're doing this over and over again, always want to keep in the back of your head, okay, what am I doing? Sometimes I've gotten lost in my design and I forget that I'm not going to be carving this out, but I'm carving this out. So just kind of touch base with yourself and make sure that you're carving the right things. But just keep going. And this can take some time, right? This is going to be the bulk of this workshop, is actually carving your design out. So depending on how intricate your design is, it can take some time. But again, not too much of a rush. Just keep going. And then once you get to a certain spot, you can kind of make it a bit cleaner around. So I just had one continuous carve there. Again, I didn't go very deep. I think that's what makes it a bit more sustainable when you're doing long carving like that. I just do it pretty surface level. And just go from there. There you go. So you can kind of see it's taking shape pretty well there. That. And I really want to carve all of this before I get into the rest of it, so we're gonna go ahead and keep going. Okay, so I kind of carved a good amount, and you can continue carving, but for now I'm just gonna move forward into the next part. So again, I'm not gonna carve this guy because I want that to show up on the ink, but I'm gonna carve just inside it because I don't want this to have ink on it. So I'm just gonna get to the very edge. I'm not carving out where the pencil is. Just right before it. Making the outline there. And then keep going. So now I'm in a good spot. I've carved out what I want, but now I've decided I want this hat to be painted. I want this to have some color. So because of that, I'm gonna make sure that I just trace the outline because I want that to have color. So very carefully, I'm gonna kind of go around. I'm trying to make this a continuous line, just so it's a bit cleaner. There you go. Now I have that in a good spot. And now I'm gonna cut out these guys. Actually, I'm gonna clean this guy a little bit. Okay. So now I'm gonna cut out the little hatches. Again, I don't want these to have ink on them. They're gonna turn out white. Okay, now we've got our stamp. So in the next module, we're gonna go over and start printing it and see what we can do to make some adjustments to make it more of what we want. Okay, everyone, now we're gonna go ahead and test our stamp. Make sure you have your ink ready. I just have, again, a very simple washable ink pad, one color. Couldn't find it in different art places, but I've left a link in the description if you need more access there. But right now we're just gonna do it really simple. Make sure that your ink pad is around the same size as your stamp. If it's not, if it ends up being bigger than your stamp, what you can do is just kind of like move it around and make sure that it's all inked up. But ours is really small, it fits on there, so we're just gonna go ahead and place it on there. Make sure it's inked up really good. It's not quite so inked up as I'd like. That's a little bit better. Put a little bit more ink. I think that's in a good spot. So we're gonna go ahead and test. So this is our first test. Make sure you press down on it pretty well. Adorable. I love it. Okay, but you can see where, obviously where I didn't carve, you can still see that. You can see the hatches. I didn't quite press on the other side, so I'm gonna go ahead and re-ink. Make sure you get all the spots. Then we're gonna try it again. Make sure to press every area. Very nice. I like how that's turned out. Now, if you can see, there are some spots where it's kind of exposed to the ink. So if you don't mind this texture, you can leave that. But if you want to make sure that it's a bit cleaner in your design and you don't want these hatches to show, you're going to want to carve those out even more. So you can kind of see some of these are a bit more raised than others. That's why they show up. but overall very happy with my design. Now if you want to make some adjustments, what I suggest you do is that you wash your ink off of your pad, off of your stamp, and then start carving it out. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and be right back. Okay, I washed the ink off of the stamp. Obviously it's gonna leave a little bit of a stain, but I kind of have an idea of what I need to carve out more. So we're gonna adjust, since we tested it out, all these little ridges that have the ink color, that's kind of tell you where you want to improve these little hatches. And essentially take them away. So you're gonna keep doing that. Make sure that you got rid of those things that are showing up that you'd kind of prefer not to show up. Again, I'm trying to keep it clean so that if they do, it's pretty uniform. It makes it for a nicer experience there, but now I also have a little bit marked here that my intention was to keep this off and just keep it the acorn, but for now I kind of like it. It kind of looks like a little hole, and like the squirrel has dug a little hole and put the acorn in there in this design. So I'm gonna leave it like that for now. Obviously you can change it in the future, but I'm gonna go ahead and re-ink this and see if I like the way it's turned out. Now I'm gonna get another piece of paper so that it's a little bit clearer when I mark it. But here we go. My ink stamp. We're just gonna ink it up again. Make sure you get all the areas. As you can see, it's looking pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit more. And then I'm gonna put him here. Yes, I'm liking that. It's looking definitely a lot cleaner. In the previous version, you could see more of those hatches. You can kind of do side by side. But this is looking a little bit better. Could still clean it up a little bit more over here, but honestly for me, I'm really liking it. So you can kind of get some more ink off of this. And like I mentioned earlier, you can make patterns, right? So this could be a pattern. You can do different ink colors. But I think for now, I'm pretty happy with this design. And I like that it feels a bit more rustic and slightly unfinished. I think it gives it a bit more character. But again, if you don't want these lines, you remove them. I kind of did here too. So you can do that as well. But that's your stamp, which is super exciting. And obviously you can do it multiple times and put it on different places. So fun. Okay, so now the time has come to print it on what you want. So again, to reiterate, your ink stamp is crucial here. So for example, if you want to print this on a card, which is what I have here, this is perfect ink for it because it is just a simple washable ink pad, and I can print it on paper and it'll stay there. Now, if you're doing t-shirts and other types of cloth, make sure you get an ink that says that it is for clothes and you'll be good to go. But for now, I'm gonna kind of show you what it can look like on a card. This is something that I've been doing recently actually, where I've been sending friends cards. So this is gonna be a perfect little addition to my card collection. We're gonna ink it up. And we're gonna put them on the card. And there you go. This is going to be perfect for my friends who are also very interested in art. And I can even add more to the stamp. So it looks more like a pattern. But look how fun that is. So fun. And then what you can do, you can start adding like a little note. You know, something simple. You can do like, you know, depending on your design, you can kind of do different things, but you know, you could say, "Happy birthday, you silly nut." So you can do something cute like that. And just kind of make some embellishments to add to your design, but something very custom made and nice. And again, t-shirts, other types of print materials. You can even put this, if you made a bigger stamp, you can even just put it on a piece of paper and mount it on a wall. These are perfect if you want to just put them on your fridge, or maybe make a fridge magnet out of it. All of the options. But so happy you're here to join me, and looking forward to seeing you in my next workshop. I have other ones that are in progress right now, but make sure to keep a lookout.